Hello folks, here I am at my crowded work desk, still waiting for my play date. I've used this to fix something, I don't need it on my desk. I want to show you something that I discovered the other day when I was showing an artist friend, a neighbor, a pen. She wanted to borrow one, and she took the pen in her hand and started writing, and I was mortified almost because she was holding the pen in a way that was very frightening. She took the pen in her hand and started, drawing very gesturally like she normally does, but she was holding the pen very vertically, and that's not right for using a fountain pen or really any nibbed instrument. It's fine for a pencil or a piece of chalk. It's what you do if you're using a brush. Where's my brush? Here's a brush. You don't paint like this, you paint like that. Where's the paint when I want it? To use the bristles, to make the brush do what you want it to do, holding it at a higher angle is more appropriate. And Japanese calligraphers hold the pen almost entirely vertically. Western painters may hold it. It's been years since I've painted, but for a fountain pen, you need to make it work the best. You need to hold it in a very certain way, and to hold the pen in your hand a certain way and make the marks on the page in a certain direction. You need to orientation. The orientation has to be correct to make it work the best. So think of a clock face. No, not a barometer. This is stuck unfair. We had a horrible blizzard and it should have been way down here, but it wasn't. Way down here. So this is always fair. It's always fair in my studio. That's not what we want. Barometer is useless at the moment. We want a watch face. So think of a watch face. And think of, well, you know what a watch face looks like. This is what a watch face. Not an analog watch. That doesn't help you. I mean, not a digital watch with digital numbers. You need one that has hands. So think of a watch face. I'll draw it out here. And think of the pen. Now I'm using this pen with a lever just because. Think of the clip and the lever and the point as all lined up correctly, right? Place it on our little clock face, and no matter where you have the pen placed on this clock face, the line right now, let's just make the numbers. This is 12, 6, 3, and 9. Okay, if the pen is aiming at the 6, coming from the 6, aiming toward the 6, you lift the pen up from that center point, and this is the line that it wants to make thick, because you're pulling the pen toward the direction of the pen. If I am holding the pen at 6 o'clock and aim it this way, I'm not going to get a thin line, a thick line. It doesn't start getting thick until I start getting closer to the 6, and then it goes back. I'm still holding the pen at the 6 o'clock mark. If I want a thick line that goes in this direction from this point, I have to turn the pen around and draw with it that way. And there's nothing wrong with turning your pen around. You can aim it in any direction you want. It's just that the thick line goes from the point of the pen toward the clip of the pen. So just think, wherever the point is and the clip is, that's where the thick line is going to be, in that orientation. So, if rapidograph pens, where the heck is that? Just filled this up. This was another pen that didn't work. You sort of have to hold it vertically. I'm going to talk about the relation now we know which way to pull the pen, but now the angle of the pen on the paper, how far you lift it up off of flat. Vertical, flat. So vertical doesn't work. I mean, you can make a line, but it's going to be awful. No vertical. I think 45 degrees and lower is really where you want to be. And, sort of whatever that angle is. Where's my protractor? I have a million of them, but of course none of them are on my desk. I've got my handcuffs on my desk, but I don't have my protractor. Anyway, to make use of the flexibility of the nib, you can't do it here. The further down you get it is good. So sort of 30-ish. You can experiment, 30-ish degrees off the surface. So that means, you have to be aware that your fingers aren't going to smear the ink. Again, artists, this is more for how artists would hold the pen. This is probably true for writers as well. But for artists who often, in their heat of creativity, might be pushing the pen in directions that the pen doesn't want to go in. So if you're going in this direction, you have to make sure not to press down. And you can't hold the pen too vertically. It isn't a brush. It isn't a technical pen. It's a fountain pen that has a nib that flexes. So you have to follow the rules. So again, think of a clock face, and the pen is the hands, and the one hand of a clock. I had two watches that were identical, beautiful watches from the 40s, rose gold watches, and I wore one here and one here, and they were on two different bands, and someone would ask me the time, and I'd say it's 6:27, because this only had one hand and this only had one hand. This had the minute hand and that had the hour hand, so it was 2:25. And why am I telling you this? So think of a clock with one hand. The one hand aiming at whatever direction it's aiming, is where the pen will make its mark. So sometimes, I'm drawing. Normally, the drawing I'm working on, let's pretend I'm actually working on a real drawing here. Here's my drawing. Pin it down to my drawing board. And I'm drawing away. The drawing is at an angle to me. It doesn't always have to be at an angle to me. My desk is this orientation. Here's my ever-expanding gut here. Here's my arms coming out like that. Here's my nose. See, my glasses. So here I am at my desk. The paper is at an angle just because it is. I don't know why. And my hand and the pen are at, if this is a clock face drawn on the paper, I'm sort of at the 5:30 sort of range. Relative to the desk, you know, you know, it's at a different, you know, it would be aimed this way, you know, a different orientation. But anyway, just think about the pen making a line in the direction that the pen itself is in. So that's where it's thick. And I'm holding the pen in such a way that the angle from the surface of the table is 30 degrees-ish. So if I hold the pen too vertically, it's not going to work. If I push the pen in the direction it doesn't want to go in, it's not going to work. So that's how these things work. So if you're used to drawing with rapidograph pens, or you're used to drawing with pencil or paintbrush, you have to forget that. Just, I mean, don't forget it when you are using those tools. You can't forget it with respect to using a fountain pen. You need to pay attention to the rules that we have. So thanks for watching. I guess I better get ready for my play date. No, actually I don't have a play date, but I do have a commission to do drawings of handcuffs for a friend of mine, and I'm going to draw it in pencil, so it doesn't, I won't be showing that to you in this Facebook group, but I'll see if I can find a pencil handcuff Facebook group, which I'm sure there are many. Bye.